Welcome back to Spectrum, right here on Radio 1. Tonight on Spectrum, what explanation can the Electoral Commission give about the countrywide complaints about the just concluded poll? Did the election meet the acceptable benchmarks? Our guests tonight, Mr. Samuel Walter Lubega, former presidential candidate, Mr. Willy Ochola, spokesman for the Electoral Commission, and Mr. Bruce Kyerere, president of the Uganda Law Society, one of the observers of this election. You'll be able to call in later and ask them questions directly. Mr. Ochola, what do you say to these complaints? Ballot stuffing, later disenfranchisement, there's a whole litany of them.
Thank you so much, Edmond. Viewers, listeners rather, we should all know that election is a process, as was rightly stated by one of my panelists tonight. It's a process, and such a process cannot go without hitches here and there. The Electoral Commission this time around thought it wise not to have so many hitches, and I'm sure as I'm talking now, there are not so many hitches that can take one to court without any evidence. Because according to the program of the election, the enabling laws, the Electoral Commission gave all the enabling laws for Parliament to amend. Out of 18, how many were approved? There were only 4. Independence and impartiality of the Electoral Commission as a body to manage election, it is the constitutional obligation of this country that the president can reaffirm the commission for one more term after their first term of office. So that was not even Electoral Commission's saying that we want to stay there. So it was a constitutional obligation that the president had to nominate them, and they were vetted by the parliament. And our parliament, as you know, is both for multi-party and independent, as well as the ruling party. So issues to do with the National Voters Register, well, the Electoral Commission can here and there say, yes, there could be some problems here and there in the National Voters Register, because the National Voters Register does not belong to the Commission alone. It is the participation of all of us, national citizens of Uganda, who are supposed to come on to the Election Commission, and so that they can be put onto the National Voters Register. And also the one thing is that voting process, which you are talking of as being, you talk of 4% of invalid votes.
Yes, 4.04 actually.
Yes. And then the low turnout of voters. There is no law in Uganda today which compels somebody to vote.
Right.
So one is free to go and vote and not to vote. So that is not Electoral Commission problem. Access to the media. The Electoral Commission did all it can within its powers to call upon the Broadcasting Council. In fact, including even, I think the owner of this radio station is a member of the Uganda National Broadcasting Association or something. We were called together by the Commission and told to give free and, if possible, equal airtime to all stakeholders in the process, which I'm sure they did, because Uganda Broadcasting Corporation gave airtime on both television and radio stations.
That's the official broadcast?
Yes, the official. That's the official media, which is what we call the government mouthpiece.
Right.
Was, in fact, is the one which is mandated according to the law to give access to all, equal access to all participating
without paying.
Yeah, without pay.
Right.
That one they did. They got 2 airtimes on
nomination day.
Not nomination day. On all the days.
All right.
There are 2
for the rallies as well.
For the rallies as well. So, issue to do with the code of conduct for political parties. That one, as rightly stated my colleague Bruce, really, it was not even an Electoral Commission thing. We tried so much. We pushed it from whether it was from the draft stages up to Parliament. Up to date, we don't have it.
Right.
So that is not really Electoral Commission's problem. So issues to do with polling is just one of the segments of election. Well, we noted the number of the presence of the military Mostly we think these were the police, but they were military as well. But
what do you mean?
But
the soldiers wear green uniform, the police wear slightly blue uniform.
Yeah, because actually I was personally inside Nambole Stadium. I never saw any soldiers at all throughout the polling process.
Okay.
Because I was there earlier than most people.
Yes.
Before even polling started. But we learned that there was some, what we call electoral security.
All right.
So their role was just to patrol, and that's all. So I think that is more or less an issue of security.
Right.
Let the police ask, why did these people come onto the road?
Not the EC's problem.
Not the EC's problem, because the EC knows the police as the principal security organization, which is supposed to control and man peace in Uganda, including my friend here, presidential candidate. He was given police escort, which we all own as Electoral Commission. We have to give them police escort.
Yes.
So,
okay, Mr. Kyerere, let's move to something else. What kind of Museveni do you think we're going to see? What kind of government is he going to be accommodative, appointing people from the opposition onto his cabinet and other senior positions?
I really have no idea. But this is what I would want to believe, that with a fresh mandate, rightly or wrongly obtained.
Okay.
For your...
Go on.
I would expect our president to use these next few months to review how he intends to drive this country. During the election process, he must have noted the grievances of the public. He himself pointed out many things. NADS has been mismanaged.
Well, somebody said on this show that he campaigned more like an opposition politician than
exactly.
He was attacking
his
own
noticed,
policies.
He noticed the many
failure of his own policies
that have gone wrong in this country.
Yes.
And I would want to believe that he's going to use this opportunity to rethink his policies, to rethink government priorities. In my view, his biggest issue to tackle is corruption, because that really is around which every other failure revolves.
Right.
The fish starts to roll.
And then, two, I think he needs to rethink his priorities, the national priorities.
National, is that economic priorities or general?
General.
Okay.
Both social and economic, especially. In the last 10, 20 years, I think we, as a country, had put too much emphasis on professionalizing the army and things like that. I think security has
It's not
been
professional.
managed.
They're making railway
Now we should
for us.
shift our national focus to something else. I am very sure that we are a stable country now.
Yes.
And that should not be our preoccupation. Though, of course, we've got to maintain vigilance.
Yes.
Education. UPE was very good, but it was completely mismanaged. The standard of education, the quality of education has gone low.
Right.
And I think he needs to refocus his policies on that one.
Yes.
And then, of course, NADS and the agricultural production, that one needs to be overhauled. The idea is good, but the way it was managed, it was completely derailed.
All right.
Of course, the other things like transport, road networks, I think he had tried his best on that one, because the main trunk roads all over the country have been done.
Right.
But maybe he needs now to refocus on the feeder roads,
Yes.
which are in a very deplorable state.
Even the trunk roads still have a deficit.
See, some of them, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, our healthcare is the worst in the region.
Okay.
You go to Mulago, you go to the health centers, which we are built, health center 1, 2, 3, 4, they are just shells. There are no health workers, no medical facilities, no nothing. So I think those are the things that he should take priority.
Service delivery.
Yeah. But of course, in my view, now he's the president of everybody, whether opposition or NRM.
All right.
Whoever, whether somebody voted him or not. I would not want to hear a leader say, you voted unwisely, so
you voted unwisely, so
lose out.
You stand,
he is a
you
president
get used to the
for
bad
all of
roads.
us. He needs to have all of us in mind.
All right.
Irrespective of whether one is NRM or FDC or DP or whatever.
All right, Mr. Samuel Lubega, would you accept a job in this government, a position? They could give you a phone call tonight saying you could be Minister for Education in the next government. Would you accept that?
The legal expert has just expressed it all. And I thank you for this program. Chapter 1 of the Constitution says, all power belongs to the people, who shall exercise their sovereignty in accordance with the Constitution. Without limiting the effect of that clause, all authority in the state emanates from the people of Uganda, and the people shall be governed through their will and consent.
Yes.
And then thirdly, all power and authority of government and its organs derive from the Ugandan Constitution, which in turn derives its authority from the people who consent to be governed in accordance with the Constitution. And lastly, the people shall express their will and consent on who shall govern them and how they should be governed through regular, free, and fair elections of their representatives or through referendum.
Yes.
When we say, we cannot say you have derived the mandate rightly or not. The mandate should have come by rightly according to this Constitution.
Well, it could be subjective.
And there's no subjectivity. When you flout the law, you have flouted it. When you invite the military in when it is not supposed to be, that is not a free and fair election. When you stuff ballot boxes and incidents of that are found, that's not a free and fair election. We are saying we've had enough of elections that are not free, fair, transparent, credible, and non-violent.
All right.
If these ones were wide, and in this case, these ones were widespread, we are rejecting the results because it included also doctoring the results themselves. I'm sorry for the spokesman who is here.
Yes.
But we have a lot of we have a dossier anyway prepared. Which
to go to court?
The public court this time, because
okay.
the people,
give it to us.
because it is the people who are supreme above anybody, all institutions and everything. And we have tried the courts of law. The legal expert will tell you how Mr. Museveni, like he has done to the Electoral Commission,
right,
has skillfully blocked every normal process in the legal, political, and other, creating artificial majorities in Parliament, and his cadre judges in everywhere.
Right, because of time.
We are tired of that, and we are rejecting this, but we are imploring the people to take responsibility, because this is a new and decisive phase that we are entering. And I'm telling you, never doubt the people of Uganda. They have done it before, pre-independence, post-independence, they will do it again.
Very briefly, because of the time, Mr. Ochola, what can the EC change if you had to change things between now and the next elections, or the small ones, the other ones that are coming after?
What the EC can do, and maybe as we are already doing the changes now, is the delivery of materials.
Yes.
Especially in Kampala. The EC regrets the delay in the delivery of materials to the Kampala voters.
Yes.
This was unforeseen. We thought our warehouse, which is within Kampala, would be able to be the source of delivery of materials. However, there was traffic congestion in that area, because once you have one room where you are removing everything